Hi, it's Dr. Lori, and this is Real Bargains. These are the bargains that people are finding at thrift stores, antique malls, and yard sales. People just like you who are thrift store shopping, buying pieces for your own collection, or flipping them online. I'm helping you to succeed with it. So I've got permission from all these folks who have contacted me about their real bargain, and I want to share them with you. My first real bargain comes from an object that was not appraised by me. Now, you know that most of the real bargains are people who, of course, have had an appraisal in some way or contacted me to, of course, tell me about their real bargains. Well, this person contacted me after the fact because she wanted to say thank you. Here's why. She didn't have an appraisal from me, but she said she heard my voice when she was thrift store shopping because she's been watching the videos, using the binge link, and learning a lot. She said that she goes to the thrift store, and this real bargain comes from a thrift store, the St. Vincent de Paul thrift store. She says she looks at books always. She always goes. She looks through all the books. She likes books, but you know, she's cheap. She admits that she's cheap. Hey, there's nothing wrong with cheap. So she said, I look through the books. I don't really like James Bond, but I saw this book, Casino Royale, and I thought, well, you know, maybe it's a good idea. She was going to even leave it there. So she went back and forth about it when all of a sudden she heard my voice in her head. And my voice said, what are you doing? It's James Bond. It's a famous author. Buy the book. It's 99 cents. So she heard me from my videos, and she heard me while she was thrift store shopping. So she buys the book. So at that moment, she bought the book. She said that it was in good shape. The dust jacket had a little bit of problems, a little bit of tearing, but not bad. And she bought it. So she buys the book and she lists it online. So she lists it on eBay, and she said she had a starting bid of $24.99. So about $25. $24.99 starts the bidding. Immediately, within that first day, she gets an offer for the book. $750 is the offer. So she doesn't take the offer, right? She was watching my reselling tips. She doesn't take the first offer that she gets. She said, I wanted to wait and see how the bidding went, you know, how it all panned out. So she goes through and she paid 99 cents for the book, and she sold it on eBay, right, through her listing for $1,075, right? That's fantastic, you think, right? Here's the reason why she should have had an appraisal. The piece is worth $4,000 based on actual sales records where similar pieces have sold in the market. So yeah, she got $1,000 for 99 cents. Excellent, but it was worth $4,000. She needs an appraisal. I'm happy she heard my voice. I'm happy she bought it. She still did great. But again, you want to make sure you know the market and you know the real true value. But that was a real bargain indeed. My next real bargain comes from an online appraisal report. And the online appraisal report was something where someone sends in a photograph to me, fills out a form, and I review it, and I tell them, okay, well, do you want an online written appraisal? So she said, yes, I do. I bought this in a thrift store, and I think it's very beautiful. She said, I loved the repeating patterns, the concentric circles, the Native American style. You probably recognize it as a Zuni bracelet. It's a Zuni cuff bracelet. Me, I don't like cuffs. It hurts me here. I don't like it. I like to have the bracelet where I know it's not going to come off me, but a lot of people love cuffs, and the Native American cuffs are very, very desirable. So this one is turquoise, all hand set turquoise. And that repeating pattern, very well known of the Zuni, of course, peoples of the Southwest. This one is sterling silver. It is marked, it's in a nice sterling silver setting, and there's a lot of turquoise, which is some of the things that you look for when you look for these repeated pattern Zuni Native American turquoise cuff bracelets. So this one's from the 1970s, and it's in very good condition, and it's significant. It's big, and that's what you really want to see. You want to see a little bit of substance when you're looking for these particular pieces. So it's at the thrift store. She said, I couldn't believe it, and I couldn't believe the price. I was very quiet as I bought it. So she paid $9 for it, and the online appraisal report revealed that it was worth $400. That's right. Why? Sterling silver, Native American imagery, very typical and characteristic floral burst pattern, and of course of the Zuni. A very nice piece and a real bargain too. This next real bargain comes from a video call, and the video caller was funny because she said, you know, I know a lot of the estate sale people. This particular real bargain comes from an estate sale. She said, I know a lot of my local estate sale people. You know, when you go to estate sales, you start to meet these people. You meet them, you talk to them. They become acquaintances, some friends, you know. And she said, so the estate sale person was telling me about this particular estate sale that he was holding. And he said, it's a nasty divorce of folks who are very, very well off. And they're very angry at each other, and they're selling off everything, and they don't really care. So you might as well take some extra time at this estate sale. Now, of course, the estate sale people are of course, sellers, and they're marketers, and they're trying to get people excited in the estate sale. But this particular estate sale person was very truthful. It was true that there were some wonderful pieces at this estate sale. So my video caller said, Dr. Lori, I wanted to make sure before I listed this online about the specifics of this particular piece. So got it at the estate sale, and you can see it's a Mont Blanc pen in its original case. And it's one of the Mont Blanc pens that, in fact, has a lot of the details that Mont Blanc has become known for. So it has, of course, the large barrel of the pen. It also has its original cap. It also has, of course, its original box. And all of these elements are important to, of course, identifying value. So she said, I paid $25 for it, and I know for most vintage pens that can be kind of high, but when I saw it was Mont Blanc, I wanted to make sure that in fact I was getting a good deal. Well, a lot of vintage pens are very much more valuable than just $25, so I thought $25 was great, and based on actual sales records, this was a real bargain. The pen, wait for it, is worth $500. That's right, the Mont Blanc pen in its original box, $500. It's not all that old. It dates to the 1980s, but a very nice piece and a great one at an estate sale. This next real bargain comes from a Salvation Army thrift store. And this was from a video caller who went to the Salvation Army, and it was interesting because, you know, he does a lot of thrifting. His business is basically reselling thrifting. And I help a lot of folks who, of course, are thrifting and doing reselling and then starting their own businesses or have been established businesses for a long time who are thrifters and flippers, if you will, resellers. And they come to me when they want to really make sure that they don't make a mistake with respect to their appraised value. So my video caller tells me that he got this at the Salvation Army, and there are two stores that are right next to each other, two thrift stores, the Salvation Army and the Goodwill in his town. So he said he looked there and he looked around, and he oftentimes goes in both stores to look for sets of china because he does very well with sets of china, teapots, teacups, you know, creamer, sugars, that kind of thing. So he said, so this was a departure for him, this object. So he saw this object and he saw it on an end cap. And I like to hear the stories of where was it in the store, because that helps you guys to, of course, learn where to look, where to, you know, where to seek things out. I always say, look high, look low, because, you know, you'll be surprised at the stuff that's on a way, way high shelf or underneath a low shelf where you have to bend down, because most people just want to get stuff at eye level and then they don't bother moving their bodies. So you really have to be a little bit more of a gymnast and look up and down when you're in these thrift stores. So he said that this object was on an end cap and it was featured, and he knew it was a vintage Murano clown. He knew that. But what he didn't realize was that it's actually an ashtray. On the video call, we talked about clowns, and he said, I think clowns are creepy. I didn't really want to buy it. It really wasn't my thing. And, you know, a lot of people are like that. They like one kind of, you know, figural animal, or they don't like clowns, or they do like something else. It all depends. So he said, I knew it was colorful. I liked it a lot, and it was standing up. So when he put it on its side, when we were talking on the video call, realizing that it was an ashtray. So this particular piece had two purposes. So, and this was smart for the Murano developers, for the folks who made these particular pieces, because, you know, it had two different purposes. So if you weren't a smoker, you could still buy the piece and put it upright and have it as a figurine, as just a decorative piece of home decor. So he didn't want to buy it, but it was there. And then he said it was marked $3. Then he saw that it had a tag on it, which was a 50% off tag. So it was marked $3, and then there was a 50% off tag, and he thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be $1.50. So he kind of said, I had to buy it then. So he didn't want the creepy clown, but he knew that Murano would sell. And I've taught you how to identify Murano from the good, of course, from the fakes. And right here on the videos. And you know, this one was a real bargain too. He was really happy on the video call when I told him that his Murano multicolored hand-blown glass, Italian glass of course, ashtray / figural clown is worth $250. He's fun. He's fun. So that's a real bargain too. This next real bargain comes from a thrift store. And the thrift store, in fact, had lots of jewelry. And a lot of you are going and you're looking at jewelry. And a lot of the times that you're looking for pieces and you're finding sets. I always tell you, try to keep sets together and look around the thrift store. Look in those cases. Ask, of course, the staff and see whether or not they have any other pieces to a set. A lot of times these pieces were intended to be in sets. So this set was together and that was lucky. It's a necklace of multi-strands. So it's multi-beaded strands of coral, which has been twisted, right? And then they're individual coral beads, 17 inches long, with a clasp, and the clasp is marked for sterling silver. So a very nice piece. And earrings to match. We call these cluster earrings. They're a little cluster, of course, of beads, and they had the pair, and they're pretty traditional looking. So that's nice too, because they're classic. You know that term in jewelry design, it's classic. So lots of people wear it. It goes out and it's of interest to a very broad audience, and that will help you if you're going to resell these pieces. They're screw back earrings, which helps you to date the pieces to the middle part of the 20th century, right? About the 1960s or so. And then I said, how much did you pay for them? She said, I really thought they were beautiful. I liked the coral, of course, and I heard you talk about coral and how important it is and how many people like it. So I particularly purchased. I oftentimes tell you about coral because coral has a long-standing tradition of having medicinal properties, properties where people who are wearing coral will think it will actually get rid of some ailments. So coral really has a long-standing and interesting history in terms of jewelry design. Anyway, I said, how much did you pay? She said, I paid $5.99 for the pair of earrings as well as the 17-inch choker necklace. She said, that's what I paid, $5.99. I said, so was that a bargain? Did you get them down in negotiating? She said, nope, that was the price, and I thought they were beautiful, and I wanted them. I said, well, I think they're beautiful too, and they're worth $275. That's right, a beautiful set that was intact right there at the thrift store. A real bargain too. This next real bargain comes from a video call, and it was a video caller who had gone to a church sale. Now, I always tell you, people say, you have to get there early, you have to get there early, things will be picked over. Well, it's always good to remember that when you're going to any of these yard sales or thrift store sales, or of course any of these church sales, that yes, you want to make sure that you are looking carefully at items. Oftentimes these places are treasure troves. I've been teaching you this. Treasure troves of great objects. So think about that when you're going. And don't forget to look carefully, and don't forget to bring enough cash with you. Sometimes, you know, the deal will be made with the cash. Having said that, this piece is a silver bangle bracelet. Now, it has a braid on it. So what I was telling the video caller about it is that braid is pretty typical of the Navajo Native American designs. She said, well, I did get it, you know, in a church sale, so it's very possible that it could have come from anywhere. I said, yeah, that's very typical. So church sales oftentimes will have pieces from all over the place. And some are very, very vintage old, and some are very, very new. It just depends. So this particular piece, I said, at the church sale, I said, was it, you know, it was one of these high-end church sales where they're charging a lot? She said, Dr. Lori, I paid 50 cents for that piece. I said, 50 cents? The braid is what speaks to all of it. You'll notice that nice braid all the way around that piece of sterling silver, and it was marked. The Native American bangle bracelet in sterling silver that she paid 50 cents for, what's it worth? $250. That's right, a beautiful piece and a wonderful real bargain. When you're looking at these pieces, I want you to bring your loop. And I want you to bring your loop. Many of you have gotten them through my specials and shopping page, and I get compensation when you purchase a loop. I want you to bring the loop because the loop will help you to identify those little tiny marks. The other thing, you know, maker's marks, fineness marks, marks that I talk about on the videos. But also I want you to use the loop because the loop will actually help you to educate your eyeballs. So then, if you leave the loop at home, you know, your eyes will say, wait a minute, I know what I'm supposed to be looking for. So that will help you too. So use the loop as much as you can. Don't worry about it. Scrutinize this stuff. It's a good idea. Don't be shy to use it either. My next real bargain comes from my class. So my class, where of course students can participate, and I talk about objects, art, antiques, and collectibles, and I teach folks about all different topics within the realm of that particular subject matter. So this person in my class bought this piece, which is a figural cat pendant, at an online auction. It's 21 inches long and the pendant itself is 2 inches. She got the necklace as well as the pendant in the shape of that cat, that dynamic cat, which is marked 925 for sterling silver. She got it for $9.99. That's right, the online auction was $9.99 is what she paid. She said the cat pendant, of course, is figural, and I told her it's hand cast. The eyes are blue topaz, very small blue topaz stones set in the eyes of the sterling silver cat. She said, I saw it and I thought, I have to have it for 10 bucks. Well, $9.99. I have to have it. And I got to tell her during the class that her real bargain was worth $250. Lots of real bargains, beautiful pieces, art, antiques, collectibles, jewelry, beautiful. Thanks for being with me. I'm Dr. Lori. I hope you find your real bargain real soon.